Hi everyone, my name is Leanne. You probably haven't noticed, but I have certainly noticed that I have been on a bit of a booktube break, a booktube hiatus. I just had a lot of stuff going on, you know? And making videos just kind of, it slipped down my priorities a little bit. But today we are back, we are doing a tag, we are doing the Moody Reader Tag. I think I was tagged by someone to do this. I don't remember who, I'm sorry, I'll try find out and I'll link it in the description, and I will also link the original creator of this tag. It's a tag about your feelings, your emotions, your moods, your response to books, whether they hit you in the honey nut felios or not. And the first question is, do you consider yourself a mood reader? Yes, I do, but I go through phases, and actually the second question is, do you set TBR lists and do you stick to them? And I'm kind of going to answer these questions together. I do set TBR lists for like specific readathons, and I do tend to be able to stick to those. Over the course of my reading life and my booktube life, I have done monthly TBRs. I have gone through phases of doing that, and I have gone through phases of just completely picking by whim. And the phase I'm in at the minute is picking by whim, but I don't think it's working anymore. And that's essentially what I do. I will like mood read and mood read and mood read until it doesn't work anymore, and then I will switch to TBRs and I will do TBR after TBR after TBR until I start to find it too restrictive, and then I'll switch back. At the moment I'm doing mood reading and I'm spending a lot of time like stood in front of my shelves, no clue what I want to read. And I feel like if I had some kind of structure, it would be helpful. So I don't know how I'm going to implement monthly TBRs, whether I'm going to make them like into challenges. Maybe I can put little prompts in a jar and pull out a prompt. So many people have these like really creative TBR games, and I'm so in awe of those people, but I don't have that level of creativity or organization. But I think moving forward, I could maybe do with some sort of structure to my reading. Because when I'm stood in front of my shelves at the minute, and the only parameter for what I want to pick up is like, oh, what's the vibe? Like that's not helping me right now. Question 3 is, do books affect you emotionally? So does the emotion in the book rub off on you? I think it does, yeah. And like one of my favorite ways of reacting to a book is when it gives you kind of like a visceral reaction. So if it is a thriller, do you feel tense when you're reading it? If it's a bit of a sexy book, do you feel like you need to have a cold shower afterwards? I mean, I'm having about 3 cold showers a day, but that's just because of the fucking heat outside. But I think I only experience those emotions when I'm in the moment of reading the book. I don't think they kind of impact me throughout the day. So I don't think like when I have read thriller books that have made me feel quite tense, I don't feel tense when I've closed the book. So when I'm in the moment, I do feel that emotion, but once I'm finished reading, it's not there anymore. The next question is, when you're feeling sad, what do you read? Or do you read at all when you're sad? I think when I'm really sad, I tend to gravitate more towards like binge watching TV shows, because I think when I'm sad, I don't necessarily have like the energy to focus on a book. I think the kind of one exception to that is maybe if I'm like during the many stages of my life when I've been sad about my dating life. Disclaimer, absolutely not in one of those times right now, but I've been there, as I'm sure most of us have been. I do gravitate towards like a feminist non-fiction, like empowering kind of reads. Some of them potentially aren't the most kind of like nuanced look at feminism. Sometimes I just need a bit of a like perk me up and a pep talk. But I think if I'm sad about something like that, then I tend to gravitate towards like empowering reads. The next question is, most often do you use your reading to escape, to learn, or to critically reflect? And I think I do all of those things with my reading. I don't think they are in any way mutually exclusive. I think I go to particular books to, you know, learn about a subject that I don't really know much about and improve the breadth of my worldview and learn about different people's experiences. I go to some books for kind of personal reflection and personal development. There are some books that I read that I potentially need to put a bit more energy into understanding or energy into getting the value back from them. And there are also some books that I really enjoy reading just because they're a fun time. I think overall, the reading experiences I tend to enjoy are the ones where I'm just having a good time. But I think the thing that really enriches my reading life is the fact that I'm reading across all of those different kinds of books. Like, I don't think if I was just continuously reading kind of fun books, I don't think my reading experience overall would be a positive one for me. I think the way I enjoy my reading is through variation. So I do all of those things with my reading. Question 6 is, what is a book that made you laugh out loud? All Our Hidden Gifts by Caroline O'Donoghue. There is one particular joke in this book about someone's birthday that genuinely proper made me laugh. Question 7 is, what is a book that made you cry? I rarely cry at books. However, I recently cried when reading Legendborn by Tracy Deonn, which is a fantasy novel that is inspired by Arthurian legend, but there's also a lot in this book that is about the grief when losing a parent, and when I was reading those sections, I had a little cry. And the observations that the author makes about that experience really hit home for me. Question 8 is, what is a book that you don't even know how you felt about it? I think for me, this could be The Glass Hotel by Emily St. John Mandel. I had such a weird reading experience with this one because I think it was phenomenally written, and I was so invested in finding out what was happening with all of these characters, how all of their lives linked together. I found it so impressive how the author managed to weave together all of the lives of these different people. But actually the details of what is going on in the plot was something that was just so not interesting to me. But somehow the author made it interesting, and I still don't really know how I feel about that. Are you more likely to read on a sunny day or a cloudy day? Well, it is very sunny right now, and I have not been doing an awful lot of reading. And I think there are a few reasons why I'm not doing an awful lot of reading, and I'm gonna get to that when we get to the last question in this tag. But I do think the sunny weather is part of it. I do enjoy reading outside. I do enjoy, you know, taking a nice coffee out into the garden and having a read. But actually my favorite place to read is my bed. And right now I do not want to be in my bed because it is too warm. And also when it is sunny out, I tend to be off doing other things, you know. I want to be in a beer garden. Whereas on a cloudy day, I'm more likely to make that time just to hang out solo. Question 10 is, do you usually set the mood when you are reading? So music, lights, smells, etc. And yes, I do. Especially when it comes to reading in the evening, I am big into like having clean sheets, having clean bedding, putting on a candle or like a wax melt, or having my fairy lights on, having a cup of tea, having snacks. Never music, but sometimes like an ASMR room, or like, you know, you can get that fire on Netflix. So yes, I absolutely do set the mood, but only really with my evening reading. And the final question is, can you leap from book to book, or do you tend to have a buffer in between? Usually I have a few books on the go at the one time, so that will never really happen. So I might like, you know, finish one book but then be halfway through another one, but then also start another one. It's pretty rare that I will read a book and then pick up a new one and then read that. But I think some of my most successful reading months in terms of like reading a big quantity of books is built on momentum. So if I get through a book really quickly, I will be really keen to pick up another one and get through that quickly, and then building that momentum. I haven't really got that momentum at the moment. I'm really struggling to finish things. And this is kind of something that I've been struggling with maybe for about a month. There's a lot of stuff going on in my life right now. So I'm not beating myself up about it. I'm just aware that I haven't got that momentum right now because I'm going quite a lot of time without doing any bits of reading, because I'm reading in like small kind of 50-page chunks. I'm struggling to build up that momentum. I'm a much better reader when I can settle down for a few hours and read maybe like 200 pages. But in terms of what this question's actually asking, I don't really need to have a break between books, no. So that's it. They are all of the questions in the Moody Reader Tag. I'm not going to tag anyone specifically, but if you haven't done this tag yet and would like to, please do feel free. Consider this your official tag. And if you have done this tag and I haven't checked it out yet, do let me know down in the comments. If you have any thoughts on anything that I've mentioned, do leave a comment down below as well, or leave me one of your favorite emojis. And if you want to connect with me on social media, all of my links are always down in the description as well. I hope you guys are doing well, and I will speak to you in my next video.